And there'll be a separate solo self-found mode, presumably, even potentially beta launch or in the future?
It is our intention to have hardcore and solo self-found.
We'll have both of them.
Right, cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't play hardcore for your first round, honestly, because you're likely to die. Like once you learn the boss mechanics, it should be fine. But
someone's gonna.
First time, it's gonna be tricky.
Couch co-op hardcore, and you get to see your friend die right next to you. That's the true dream.
Actually, hang on, wait. In couch co-op hardcore, do we still lock the camera so you can't walk away from your friend?
No, we put you back to solo.
You back to solo? Okay, great.
That's
Good. That's good. Good to know. It's like you have
to have a mourning period of about 30 seconds.
Right.
But you're just like, all right, you can go home now. We're like, go.
See ya.
What do you do?
Yeah, that's a devastating moment. I did lose my place there. I think we mentioned the co-op support and everything. Mm-hmm. We'll scroll down and take some of the additional questions here. Excellent, thanks. Mm-hmm. Will there be a penalty for individual party member dying when grouping up for bosses on that note then? It seems weird that the boss straight up resets when playing solo, but when playing in a group, nothing happens if a party member dies.
So tell us about the rules
now
that we have, because I know you've changed them recently.
So bosses are obviously harder for having more people.
Yep.
Less crowd controls, things like obviously more life. And I'm not just saying double life, more than double life, right? It does get more than twice as hard or more than N players as hard. So yes, you could argue, okay, we have reviving as an advantage. Well, yes, it does. It does take time to revive, and if your friend dies early and you're unable to revive them because you're constantly being interrupted, well,
from what I saw, it's pretty hard.
You're
to pull
not having a fun time.
Get a big stun or something.
Another change that we made recently is, of course, for each revived. Between each set of checkpoints, every time you have to revive them, the revive takes longer subsequent times.
So that's important because it just means that if you're like, you can't revive spam anymore because it's going to take longer and longer each time. But then when you go to a checkpoint, that resets, so like you're back to normal
now,
again.
Now, in in-game maps, you cannot revive each other. Death is a consequence.
Yeah. I was going to ask actually about like endgame maps and what is the rule for dying in endgame map? Is it one portal deal now, not 6 portals?
Well, you still have 6 portals so you can have your party members, but death.
And you can leave and come back as long as you don't die. So you can take items out, but a death will end that map for you.
And to remind people, the if you like log out or the server crashes or something like, not that that's going to happen, then the game pauses. So when you boot the game back up and log back in, you'll be still in your map, right?
And also, even we've also now have it so that if you just Alt F4 the game at a random time, you'll actually, even if you come back like the next day, because for example you might have rage quit, you will appear back at the checkpoint you were at. So if you are like fighting a boss, you die a bunch of times, you're like, crap, Alt F4, you come back, you're going to be right there at the boss checkpoint again.
That part is campaign specific because there are no checkpoints in maps.
Yeah, non-maps. But in for the campaign though, and that honestly has helped a lot. Like there were so many. I think it really did cause new players to have problems in POE1 where they felt like they just lost track of where the hell they even were when they came back after a session. If like they might have not got waypoints for certain times or things like that. Like you now can't have the situation where you log back in and you're like, oh, I forgot like 3 waypoints in a row and now I'm like freaking miles away from where I was, which I think happened to new players fairly frequently.
I'm glad in a world where everyone's becoming a Souls-like that you guys didn't do the running back to the boss segment of gameplay, and you just kind of jump back in and have another crack. So
effectively like that's nice to just have the save checkpoints to your character, which I think is a nice one.
Were there any other mechanics around there? Reviving, well, obviously in hardcore you're dead. That's the drill.
It's irrelevant at that point.
So your maps almost embraces a kind of semi-hardcore mentality there where there is actual cost. Like we went through so many iterations here where it's like, okay, like the moment that you have to spend something of economic value to do the attempt, hence a map item, and especially if it's got breaches and all this content that's coming from precursor tablets, all of this stuff is worth stuff. So you all of a sudden have heaps of stuff on the line, and then you don't want to be in a position where you're like, I need to bring in some people to do this because I'm not going to risk that value. So that's why we just were like in maps, no reviving. It's just like, yeah, sure. You still can always bring in any context someone way more powerful than you to carry things, right? That's the benefit of multiplayer. but feeling like you have to do this thing because then they can just keep reviving you so you can get all the rewards. Like, we're trying to get away from all of that. Otherwise, you get this weird thing where like you're often always too scared to do the thing.
Yeah.
Now you're scared, but everyone's scared and it's fine, and you don't feel like you're like, okay, you have to go in with a sense of confidence to like, I can definitely do this thing, and so it's just a little bit less fear when it comes to all of a sudden doing that.
That's much better in the context of the fact that you can pause the game if your cat's on fire, or if the
100%.
server crashes, or something
100%.
that you just paused and you can jump back in as well. You're failing because of your own faults.
Yep.
In
Now,
POE
it's
too.
worth noting in multiplayer, we do have a thing, of course, with respawn at checkpoints as an option. So if a player dies and you don't want to die, don't want to finish the fight out, you can both choose to respawn at checkpoint, and then it will just create a new instance.
Cool.
You don't have to die to do it, and you don't have to log out and do any shenanigans like that. You can
that's
just press escape, hit respawn at checkpoint. It'll ask other players to confirm, and then it moves you all to the new area.
Cool. Excellent. I didn't want to go super on it because we've definitely talked about it before, but click to move versus WSD, it's definitely been asked about a bit. So there's been plenty of reports about WSD being amazing. Personally, I've been using it a ton and really enjoying it. I know you've said a lot of people around the office have like given it a try and adapted to that, but it has raised the point for people that feel like they're still very much against that for whatever reason, or maybe that they literally only have one hand and and want to use click to move still. How does it stack up? How does click to move still stack up now?
I think honestly, it's fine. Like, it's not been a problem.
There was a time where every time I go to sit down at a developer's computer, there'd be in WSD, and just because it's a little bit easier to move around again or whatever. But lately, I'd say now it's back to almost every designer's computer I sit back down at to go play. They're back in click to move.
Interesting.
Yep. It's gone full tilt the other way.
Interesting.
And I'm always like, change
Wonder
it
why
back.
that is.
But even watching Octavian play on click to move,
He's a click to move player, yeah.
He's
You have a few
100% click to move. And he
purists
is
there.
very proficient with that.
Yeah.
With it, like,
That'll be reassuring for, I think, some of the people that
Yeah.
are worried about being forced into WASD. Even though it is obviously playing so well by all accounts. That's very good then. Yeah, and Octavian's often doing the demonstrations for your live things too, so you'll be able to see that even.
I have to force him to play WSD sometimes because I'm like, I think the Mercenary looks so much better with WSD just visually. I'll tell him to...
It does feel very good on the Mercenary.
Yeah,
You get
yeah.
that kind of like stalking through, especially with that kind of like preparational tactical play style.
Yeah,
It's good. I'm loving it so far. We did already talk about the skin transfers. Could we scroll down to any additional questions that we have? I feel like I don't even know how long we've been going for, but
I mean,
I'm feeling
it's
the
a
physical
while. We're
fatigue
getting
creep in at this point.
Yeah, exactly. we've been rolling. Yeah.
People asking if there's going to be anything like challenges or challenge rewards in the early access.
Not
beta?
at first,
Yeah.
no.
We will do it later, though.
Did I ask about races, events, and private leagues?
I think not initially, but we will do it later for sure.
Cool.
I think I'm not sure what happened because I think the issue was that the private league interface was like on the POE1 site, and we had to do some work and something like that. It wouldn't be far away though. Like it won't take us that long before we get to it. Like
I can't exactly remember either, but it wouldn't be private leagues in particular wouldn't be far away.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll have them, just not like right initially potentially.
And I think I did miss this actually. So cluster jewels are a thing or not a thing? Are they've been kind of replaced by those
Yeah,
radius?
we replaced them with that almost like rollable timeless jewel kind of thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
At least for now, there's like so much passive tree there, and the jewels accomplish the kind of off-build thing anyway.
You hardly need to add the extra passive trees on your passive trees.
Yes, we do. Yeah,
That's after launch.
We made the passive tree implicitly bigger, so
the cluster jewels are in the tree already.
That's again, I talk about like year 3 features. That's around a like year 3 to year 5 feature as well. So
Yeah. We got another decade of what we had with Path of Exile 1 to look forward to for Path of Exile 2, hopefully, before we start worrying about Path of Exile 3, maybe.
Jeez.
You go, just start thinking. Just start thinking about
it's
that.
a little while.
We so I guess to just finish us off for today, then, do you guys have a recommendation of what is the best class to play in the beta?
I mean, that's a very hard one. Honestly, like
There's so many choices now.
There are. So let me. Well, okay. if we're going by the numbers,
Oh, yeah.
if we go by player satisfaction reports on per class, we break it down
Yeah,
from the
I
betas.
mean, this is good technical information here.
Then that means the monk is very interesting because the monk is the class that dies the most often. But it's
Yeah.
also the class that when people play it, they have the highest satisfaction
That's
level by a very,
fascinating.
very tiny margin that compares to the others.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it is like glass cannon, like it's very fast, but you have to,
Yeah.
you
I
have
mean,
to retreat and move in and out. So,
I fell in love with the monk
that's,
playing it. It looks like it's gotten a little better.
Yeah,
even,
that's
so.
interesting. But I think if you're a new player, then the mercenary, if you're like used to shooters and stuff, I think playing the mercenary could be a good win. Like I really love that class. It's
I don't
really
know.
cool.
I've been loving the mercenary,
Yeah.
but to me, it feels like you need to really be considering each engagement a lot more. It's a bit more
Maybe.
tactical.
Maybe,
and
I don't know. Like
considered.
I like it.
You don't have that
I really
ability
like
to
that.
correct if you
But
make a mistake.
honestly, like I mean, I go through favorite classes all the time. Whenever I change to play a different class, it becomes my favorite.
That's my current favorite.
So it's just whatever
Nice.
whatever I'm playing tends to be the thing. So yeah, right now I'm doing a mercenary playthrough, so that's probably why I'm into that. But yeah. It's, I'm not sure if you've got a similar thing.
No, you were talking about the numbers as well. It was interesting that monk and then warrior had the highest
Yes,
satisfaction levels.
Warrior's
and I was
next,
like,
by the way, technically, if you're looking for...
that's pretty good. That's
Yeah, yeah.
2 melee classes.
Exactly,
right now.
exactly.
That's a win.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that's something going on. I mean, they were dying a lot more at the time, but
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
It's such a change from especially early Path of Exile 1. Like, it's gotten a little better in modern days, but still.
I mean,
melee.
I just have a real desire to freeze time, so I just want to be sorceress and then just go. I don't know what
It's good to
skills
hear some
I'll play.
sorceress love. I feel like she's not been getting enough
I
attention.
don't know what
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what skills I'll play, but I definitely just want to be able to freeze time. So
Yeah.
it just feels cool.
All right. So you could be playing a crossbow build anyway.
Yeah, I might be a crossbow time
Yeah.
freezer. I don't know. We'll see what's going on.
Yeah, all right. I liked that I noted that our mercenaries were very different as well. I was playing full Grenader. You were
I was doing
combo.
the freeze
Yeah.
freeze shotgun.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I know
nice
what. Yeah, some sort of monk trigger build. Obviously, is always just going to be fun
yeah.
to
Yeah,
play
they
around
have so many
with
of
and,
those like stacking effects, the wind
Yeah.
and the ice coming off it, and the ascendancies showed some more as well. Oof.
just see how far that can be pushed and how many spells can I get to trigger per second.
Monk does seem good for that. Alrighty. Well, thank you very much for your time, both of
you.
you. For I don't even know how long
That was a mammoth session. I think we're coming up to
Yes.
1 o'clock here, so
there's still lots to talk about, but I think we just need some time to digest.
For sure. Well, thankfully we didn't have everyone saying patch notes when this time.
So good.
So that means
So
we can actually
good.
have a conversation.
There's no pressure on us to wrap it up,
Yeah,
boys.
exactly. That's good.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the Q&A. That's
They want patch notes now.
patch notes.
Well done.
It's not a patch.
Thank you.
It's a launch.
Exactly,
You can't have patch
exactly.
notes.
Where's the launch notes?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, and
No,
thank you very much.
Thanks
Great.
heaps. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's been an epic journey. It's kind of surreal. And
Yeah.
it's only the start of another journey, really. So,
That's it.
yeah.
Can't wait to play.
It's cool.
Excellent.
I mean, I'm going to go play more now, but
Yeah, true.
sorry.
I got to go fix bosses going up elevators and
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just pre-bug testing. That's it.
All right.
I assume we've faded out and cut.
Hopefully.
you never know.
Hopefully.